how much feasible is this, because we all have been running after getting our classrooms full and getting maximum admissions. That is second. And third, just on the inclusive education that you mentioned, it's a very fancy word nowadays about inclusive education. Politically everyone speaks that. As an educator we always speaks that. The fact of the matter is, I don't know how much inclusive education as an LD child would be possible in India, because till date Shaping India has touch based more than 18,000 students. On an average we say that 10% of every single classroom has an LD kid. Forget that, even from the 10%, even 1% parents don't understand what LD means. Even teachers, for that instance of principals of the schools, don't know what an LD is. And if they find a child to be an LD, they don't want a counselor to tell them he's an LD, because otherwise an admission would be lost. And through a proper remedial school where a child has to go through an LD process, in India they are not been going through. So even if we speak about inclusive education, I don't know how much that is going to happen. Just a final thing, when you said that people who are disabled should be a part of the inclusive education, Indian education system always teach children to empathize with them. But however, this system is not teaching these disabled people that you should not have a sympathy for yourself. When we ask this differently abled people, how comfortable are you in a classroom? It's not about how others feel about them, it's about how they feel about themselves. So this is a question that has to be asked. Thank you so much.
Good morning. I'm Ashwini Kulkarni from Vidyashil Public School. I just want to make just want to react to his first point. I think he's not aware. I'm a maths teacher of 9th and 10th. The entire 10th standard maths book is completely with female references, women references. The diagrams are also all women on the cover page also. And this change has occurred, I think, about 10 years ago. The entire NCERT book of 10th standard maths, because I'm a maths teacher, I can tell with authority about maths. It is as like in computer, you have no search he and replace it with she. It has happened like that. And I'm very proud about it. I think he's not aware of it. No, I'm just telling you that it has happened. The change has happened. No, it must be happening in other classes also. I can tell with authority about only 9th and 10th and only about maths. And if it has happened in 10th, I'm sure it must have happened in other classes also.
Yeah. Yeah, no, let me just explain. See, we have multiple sets of textbooks. As far as the NCERT books are concerned, it has happened right from grade 1. But there are books that you may have seen which are done by private publishers, which could be some other agency, because there in the country, anybody with a right to print can bring out a book. And any school, there's complete autonomy, at least of CBSE schools, that they can, use any book they want from grade 1 to 8. Yes. So when it comes to state boards, then there are 41 boards in the country. Again, they're supposed to adapt the NCERT books, but all of them don't do it. So if you have seen such a book, then the right way to go about it is to write to the authority who has printed that book. And I'm sure they will make it, because the NCERT books, as was rightly pointed out, they're very, very sensitive on gender. There is a committee which looks at all the books across the curriculum. So right from grade 1 to 12, this was brought in the book. Last time the textbooks were revised, which was 2005. So it's been there for some time.
Hello. Yeah, one question for the ma'am. My name is Rajendra Raina. I teach life skills in a CBSE school in Pune. In the last few months, I've had a challenge because the metrics, or what you call rubrics, I think, is so data-centric that a subject like life skills, it's very hard to measure. And I've been given a huge, columns and rows. And for every student, I have to measure all those which you mentioned. And surprisingly, I got so foxed that I threw the question back on the students of 8th, 9th, 10th, that I don't know how to measure what we are teaching and learning. And they suggested a few things. For example, they said that why can't it be measured the way we are engaged with this subject? Just to give you an idea, we are focusing on this school more on the beliefs and how to uncover those beliefs through pedagogy and tools of systems thinking by Peter Singer, I don't know you're aware. So I'm not able to satisfy the academic coordinator who has a rhythm and a cycle of measuring how much life skills have they learned in a month, which is so hard to prove that, I mean, how do you measure life skills? Like, we are wanting to study the beliefs, the feelings, the aspirations, and we are trying to make, like we were discussing, uncover those for kids. And then there is this cyclical measurement, which या तो उसमें फर्जी खाना पूर्ति करें, which probably I'll end up doing, but I don't know how to do it better. So I just wanted to ask.
There are 2-3 things to this. One is that when we are talking of life skills, we are not talking just only of beliefs, they are concrete life skills. Some of them can be measured better than the others, but some, you are right, that most of the soft skills, in fact, in the soft skill area, there are psychometric tests for measuring them, but they are in the subjective domain. One can't really claim that any test for measuring creative thinking is absolutely objective. There will tend to be an amount of subjectivity. But if you're right in saying that sometimes teachers look at the indicators and the kind of marks that are given, and then look at the number of students in their class, and then it comes to mind-boggling numbers and figures. That is why we've said that for life skills, that is an indicator. It's an indicator of assessment. That doesn't mean that it has to be done for every child individually. In fact, life skills is something which all teachers need to be looking at. It's not just one teacher of life skills. So if it is, let's say, a maths teacher or a science teacher or a language teacher, and if they look at the life skills manuals which we've given, which means that now we have, of course, 1 for 6, 1 for 7, 1 for 8, and 1 for 9, 10. Then you have these activities under critical and creative thinking, problem solving, decision making, emotional skills, coping with stress. So you do one of those activities and you look at deviations. You don't need to look at each child. You need to look at deviation, which means that there is a self-assessment sheet at the end of the worksheet. There is also other things that schools can do. Like, for instance, there is one of the agency empaneled with us, I think it's called World Kids Organization, which has films, which has made films on life skills. And at the end of the films, there are these MCQ questions, which is a kind of assessment also. Now, there is no right or wrong answer in those questions. It only depends on how you are answering that. And if you look at those series of questions, then your strengths, either in the social skills or emotional skills or thinking skills, are defined, which means that predominantly these are your strengths. And if the child has answered in certain ways, then that means the strengths are in a separate domain. And so where you feel that you can improve, those are the areas to focus on. So one has to look at how you are implementing those numerals. It should not be added up, and so for that we are bringing out a revised manual next session. It is ready, but we don't want to introduce it like this. So next year it will be more simplified, maybe more detailed guidelines, which we do in our training. So I suggest that you attend an orientation program, and it's very clearly mentioned that you don't have to total up for each student. Definitely not. It's an indicator, and one has to look at deviation.
We'll take a last response from Shaunak.
Thank you. I would like to reply to ma'am's statement. Ma'am, you stated that all the references in the class 10 NCRT book are female, right? All of them. So is that equality? Ma'am, so are you saying the male generation of this should suffer just because it's to get things back to balance? Ma'am, why so? But so is balance supposed to be achieved by
Okay,
getting?
Shaunak, taken, point taken. Let's stop at this. We are coming to the end of today's session or today's morning. Just before we close, a reminder that Shri Vineet Joshi will be coming tomorrow here. All educators can bring in students from class 9 to class 12. On the spot, you can come and register like you registered in the morning, or you can just walk in. So we welcome all the students from 9 to 12th, and Vineet Joshi is specially coming for an address to the students. So we would welcome our students in the audience. We like to thank our eminent guest, Dr. Parashar and Ganesh Natarajanji, who had to leave due to prior appointment, for having shared their thoughts and the morning with us. We also want to thank our audience for being an interactive audience today. Students, your views are very valuable. Thank you so much for sharing with us. We like to thank our board members and Lakshmidi Shilpadi for having presence here. Thank you so much. You can have time for networking. You can have time for, right now you can have time for networking or having any addresses between you all then. Thank you.
Jai